Hi, you guys. Welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and welcome to show and tell number 139. Woohoo! We've made it through another week. So kitty cat update. We will have some pictures at the end of the video, but today is Little Banner Man's big boy surgery. So I have already dropped him off at the vet. He will probably be home around 2 o'clock this afternoon. Pippin, when I walked in the door with groceries and no banner, was not very happy with me. He wanted to know where his brother is, and now he's sitting across the room from me going, "Where's my brother? What, Pip Pip? I see you, Pip Pip." Yeah, he's just sitting there staring at me. I have once again worked on a whole bunch of different projects, but have very little to show for it in terms of FOs. I don't know what the deal is, because I feel like this is the week where I'm going to finish a whole bunch of these things, and then it gets to Wednesday, Thursday when I film, and there's like nothing. I mean, I can't say nothing. What's wrong, Pippin? I did do stuff. It's just not. Come here. Come here. Yeah, now he's just going to sit over there and just randomly mew at me. So if you hear the little Pippin squeaks over there, I'm very sorry. I do not have my Jada and Stitches squares with me. I did finish those, though. Banner has those with him. He had one in his mouth and one in his hands when I picked him up. So those are in his crate with him. I asked them to set those aside for me when they took him out of his crate, but I wasn't going to traumatize him any extra. We have some more granny squares, of course, because I'm still working through things. And of course, as I was working through things, I found more hanks, more skeins. But we have 2 in Red Heart Banana Berry. And I'm 98% sure this is my last skein of this. If not, I'm going to kind of get disappointed because 2 skeins of Banana Berry could go a long way for stuff. But we have those. I had a leftover partial of the Burgundy Impeccable, Loops and Thread Impeccable. And I did one all red and one with a blue border. This one is the Red Heart with Love that is left over from the UNC blanket, which is also finished. So I had somebody ask me how I was finishing it off. The same way I finish off most of my corner-to-corner blankets. I do Mikey's first 2 rounds of a border where you do the single, chain, single. And then doing 3 singles in each loop. And then I do a row of double crochets. But it is now complete. It is now complete. So I can send all 3 of these blankets off to their final home after I take pictures. And that's one less thing I have to think about. That's one less basket sitting upstairs, bin sitting upstairs, even though I've already filled it. So some of you will realize yesterday was Ash Wednesday. So that begins my annual Lenten charity project. And I haven't decided completely yet if I'm going to do 2 hats a week or if I'm going to make a shawl a week. I have this afternoon to figure it out because I need to get working on whatever I decide to do. But set this to the side. I did take the bin from that. I emptied it out of the NC State colors and the UNC colors, dispersed partial skeins where they needed to go, and took a whole bunch of the cakes off my wall and shoved them in there and took those upstairs to be shawls for Lent. So I've got enough for like the first 4 shawls, I think, taken upstairs already. But that is what I got done. I have been slowly for the last month enjoying my Avery Lane collection yarn project. That's my subscription box that I started reviewing at the beginning of February. I've just been enjoying the lusciousness and settling down and enjoying the colors as that works up. So I've taken my time with that project. Occasionally I get a row or two in on my pickle jar scarf. What else? I've been working on the granny squares. I have all the yarn together in one basket for my circling granny springtime blanket. I am still planning on trying to film the braided border that I used on the fall blanket. I just have not had time to sit down at the table upstairs in the quiet. I might have to come in here and clear surfaces in here and just start filming in here more often. It'll just mean dropping my cutting table and Pippin's still walking around howling. I feel so bad. I feel like I did something bad. Not that Banner's going to be too happy with me when he comes home. And he was not very happy to see he was going into the vet by himself. So one other super duper exciting thing that I did this week is I got together with Erica over at the Lopsided Crafter. For the first time since like October, between her schedule and my schedule, it just has not worked out. So I did get together with her for breakfast / lunch the other day, and she gave me a whole bunch of her cast off yarns again. Now, a lot of this is like Bernat blanket yarn, and I did pull some of those out to do, I originally was thinking about doing a big sunshine pillow. And then I got to thinking about it. The one I'd really prefer to make is actually Twinkie Chan's lemon pillow, because that just brings sunshine and joy. So I will leave a link for that pattern in the description box down below. But I did pull out enough of the yellows to be able to maybe do a lemon pillow. And then maybe that'll encourage me to finally finish the donut pillow by Twinkie Chan that I started 5 years ago, maybe. I made a small version and then got started on the big version, and then just kind of worked on other things instead. So I do have 5 bags set aside to donate to the Prayer Shawl Ministry, because I do know one of the ladies really loves that. So I do have that set aside, and I have 3 more bags left to go through that appear to mostly be worsted weight yarn. I did keep, so far I have like 1.5, maybe 2 bins for myself that I'm going to go ahead and keep, but it's been fun to go through it and sort it and figure out what I want and what I might want to do with it. And as I'm pulling together, you know, single skeins and stuff to do the granny squares, I'm like, you know, some single squares, some single skeins that don't really match anything or coordinate to anything. Like that would be a lot of fun just to spice up what I already have in the granny squares. So what I've decided to do with the granny square, oh, well, first I wanted to share this. This was a gift from Erica. And this is Mandy's Making hand-dyed yarn. So she did this as a BFF skein set. And these obviously are sock yarns, coordinated sock yarns. 2 half skeins, approximately 231 yards, 50 grams each, fingering weight. And the set is called Silly Monsters. Oh, hold on just one second. I'm so sorry about that. So that was the vet's office. So it was definitely, yeah, y'all hold on. I need to answer that. Banner's out of surgery. He's already waking up and he's doing fantastic. That was really fast because I just dropped him off at 7:45 and it's 9 o'clock now. So I can pick him up after 10 o'clock. So I'll probably go pick up my baby here shortly. I have everything done. So all I have to do until Troy gets home from work is make dinner at some point, and I can probably get away with doing that after he gets home. But I wanted to make sure somebody could sit on the sofa with him all day. As much as he wants cuddles, like, I'll give him cuddles. Anyway, this is from Mandy's Making hand-dyed yarn, and it's the color Silly Monsters. And like I said, we haven't gotten together since October, and I think this was the October release. And I thought it was really funny because as much as it is like a Halloween-y thing, as I've said before with some of the other ones, Pippin's howling again. This actually kind of looks like irises or crocuses or something like that. Tulips maybe. So kind of perfect, but love the sock set. Love the sock set. And once again, like in full skeins, these would also be absolutely beautiful in a shawl, like an alternating texture pattern shawl. So what I was going to say about the 10-row granny squares I've been working on. Originally what I had said is when I filled up my Yarned and Dangerous tote, I'm going to go ahead and start putting things together. I think what I'm going to do is actually take one of the totes that I have down here, and I think I'm going to wait until I have a tote full. That way, I mean, because I hate joining blankets when I'm to the point where I'm joining things, like I just want to go through and join. And if I can join like 4 or 5 blankets together at once, that would be great. He's mad at me, but he doesn't know I can go get his brother soon. Yeah, we can go get Banner soon. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm thinking about taking one of those large totes and just filling it up with the granny squares. I can get 4 or 5 blankets, I think, in there, in the squares. And then just sit down and join a whole bunch of 10-row grannies together. So it might be next year before I start joining these. It might be the end of the year, depending on what I do or what gets done or what I have in leftovers. He's like, I don't want to be camera facing. I just want cuddles. At 4 o'clock this morning, he was doing the same thing, except I was laying down. He was laying up under my arm with his head tucked in beside the head. Yes, he was. He's my sweet sugar bear. He's the sweetest pumpkin loaf to ever be. But yeah, so it might be next year before I get these. It just depends on what worsted weight projects I work on, how many leftover skeins I have, how many partials I have, how many one-offs I have. Somebody asked me, I think it was the last video, I was talking about leftover skeins versus scrap skeins. And the difference between the two is, to me, a leftover can still be a project. A hat, half a cowl, half a scarf used in color work, something like that. A scrap is something that you're going to ball up and can just toss in like a box or a bin. I have my bins underneath my bookcase here, and like I've got one for 0 in size 2, one that's like size 3, one size 4, and one just anything above that. And they're actually marked lace and fingering, sport and DK. But you know, if it's a scrap, I can throw it in another bin with other things, and you know, they're the things you ball up. But if it's, you know, 50 grams plus and it's just an open skein, then that to me is just a leftover, because that's easily another project. A hat generally weighs between 45 and 60 grams. So, you know, depending on how long you want to make the brim or how giant somebody's head is. So to me, like, that's the kind of thing where it's another project of its own. And I'm using mostly leftovers for these, because these are right at like 40 grams each, I think. Well, most of them have been 40 grams, I think. So it's enough. And like with the doubles where I'm able to get like 2, some of those are just because it's the impeccable yarn and the goal was to just go ahead and use those up. Same thing with the standard Red Heart Super Saver yarn. The goal was to just use it up. So like I've got like my last Mardi Gras skein. It's a full skein. It's just a single skein. I'm just going to go ahead and make granny squares out of it. But this is the perfect like car project, because you can pick up a granny square anytime, anywhere, and just start working on it. Especially if you basically only make like 2 style grannies, you can easily look at it and see what that square is and not have to worry about it. So that's what I'm working on. That's what I'm doing. I've got my spring blanket started. I should hopefully this week finish my Avery Lane and my Advent shawl I have not touched. Hopefully by the end of the week, I will have those done, or by this time next week. Granted, once again, I'm going to be sitting there with the cat in my lap probably most of the day. So it might be by the end of the week. But I am going to go ahead and go upstairs and start playing with stuff. Actually, what I'm probably going to do is go change clothes real quick and go for a quick walk before I can pick up Banner. Get that knocked out and out of the way. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a wonderful, fantastic day. As always, I hope you're taking care of yourself, being kind to yourself, and I look forward to seeing you guys real soon. Bye, guys.
Look at this part I'm putting on right here, there's a little knob on the top. Right there, that's actually what grabs the edge of the